Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Genachowski, on April the 3rd this year, Senator Begich and I, along with 17 other senators, sent you a letter requesting, among other things, that the FCC not implement additional reductions in USF support until the implications of the reforms and reductions adopted in the USF reform order can be properly evaluated and understood. As of yet, there has not been an official reply to the letter. My question is will there be a reply forthcoming in the near future?
There will be a reply forthcoming in the near future.
Great. And maybe this will be addressed in the letter, but could you answer the question about whether or not you would delay additional reductions in USF and ICC support pursuant to the further notice until the implications of the reforms and reductions adopted in last fall's USF order can be properly evaluated and understood?
I think it's important that we continue to move forward with implementing the reforms while listening very carefully to the issues that come up and make appropriate modifications. So one of the reasons I haven't responded to your letter yet was that we've made some modifications in the last 2 or 3 weeks that I wanted to put in place so that we could tell you about them in the letter, because we want to respond to the concerns. Stopping the reforms, I think, would be counterproductive, inconsistent with fiscal responsibility, and unfair to unserved Americans who would benefit from us moving forward, including in South Dakota.
Okay. This question has to do with the concern in the wireless and telecom industry about the need for additional spectrum. And, you know, as you know, there's great consumer demand for wireless services, and we've got some recent economic reports that conclude that unleashing about 300 megahertz of spectrum for mobile broadband by 2016 would spur $75 billion in new capital spending, create somewhere between 300,000 to 770,000 new jobs, and add $230 billion to GDP. When you look at the entire wireless ecosystem and all the economic benefits that are derived from this type of investment, I think it's no wonder that this has been one of the few good news stories that we've had in the U.S. economy. And I guess my question has to do with the issue of how we get new spectrum out there. I mean, I believe that we've got to do more to identify new spectrum and get it into the hands of those who are going to invest and continue to build robust wireless networks. I know that you're looking at some ways to get more spectrum to market, but I'm concerned that the process may take too long and that we'll just say that in some cases we need more time, and I don't think that's going to be sufficient based upon the demand. So the question is consistent with what the President's called for in the form of an additional 500 megahertz of spectrum. Can you provide a little more detail on how we get spectrum to market quickly and avoid the pitfalls of kicking the can down the road?
I agree with all your points. So thank you for the incentive auction authority, which will make a big difference, and we'll move forward in implementing that quickly. Recovering spectrum from government is important, and working on a bipartisan basis with the committee will help. And then there are areas where we've identified where by removing regulatory barriers to spectrum use, we can free up spectrum that already is commercial for terrestrial mobile broadband, and I look forward to working with you and the committee on a bipartisan basis on that as well.
Okay. We would welcome that opportunity. I think it's really important. And I would just follow up with...
I just beg of you, the votes are meant to be starting right now. They haven't. We have 4 people waiting to ask a question.
Okay.
Will you yield?
I guess I'll yield, Mr. Chairman, if you would, if that's your desire. Go ahead.
And we'll be friends.
I'll submit some questions for the record.
Okay.